lovely friends! Have you ever wondered why those pesky menopause symptoms just won't go away? Or why shedding those extra pounds feels like a totally uphill battle? Well, the culprit is most likely something sweet or starchy, I hate to tell you. Stick around because today we're diving into how sugar is secretly making menopause worse and sabotaging our weight loss efforts too. And it's in everything. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Oh, and if you haven't seen my latest video about how quitting sugar changed my life, be sure to check it out after this one. If you're new here, I'm Rena Hedeman, and this is Thrive After 45, where we talk about all kinds of things related to health and wellness at midlife and beyond. So if you're a woman over 45, I hope you join us. Today, we're chatting about something we all love, but realize really isn't the best for us, and that is sugar. We know it's not exactly a health food, but when we're dealing with menopause, did you know that sugar can be particularly troublesome? Well, let's get into why sugar and menopause are a recipe for disaster. Understanding sugar. Now, when I talk about sugar, I'm not talking about the natural sugars found in fruits. I'm talking about the refined table sugar that's added to so many of our favorite foods. I mean, it comes in so many different forms with so many different names, most of which you probably don't recognize as being sugar when you read the list of ingredients. And this type of sugar can seriously amplify menopause symptoms and make weight loss feel impossible. So let's break it down. Gut health and sugar. First up, let's talk about the gut. Our guts are home to trillions of bacteria, and in an ideal world, the good ones outnumber the bad. These bacteria, along with viruses, fungi, and other microbes, are collectively known as gut microbiota. And they play a very crucial role in digestion, immune function, and even mental health. But sugar loves to feed the bad bacteria, causing them to thrive. And when estrogen levels drop during menopause and perimenopause, our gut health can already be compromised. So adding sugar to the mix just makes things much worse. This imbalance can lead to mood swings, brain fog, skin issues, insomnia, digestive problems, and way more. According to a study published in Menopause, the Journal of the North American Menopause Society, which is actually now known just as the Menopause Society, low estrogen levels during menopause and perimenopause can lead to changes in gut microbiota, contributing to various health issues. The researchers found that menopausal women tend to have a higher prevalence of gut dysbiosis, which is a condition where the microbial balance is disrupted. This can really make gastrointestinal symptoms much worse and even impact mood and cognitive functions due to the gut-brain connection. Another study in the journal Nutrients also highlights how sugar intake can disrupt gut microbiota, which leads to inflammation and metabolic issues. As I said, this study showed that diets high in refined sugars promotes the growth of harmful bacteria while reducing the beneficial ones. The opposite of what we want, because it leads to increased gut permeability, which is also known as leaky gut. Leaky gut allows toxins and harmful substances to enter the bloodstream, triggering systemic inflammation and exacerbating menopausal symptoms. So what do we do about this? Well, in addition to cutting way back on sugar, try adding fermented foods to your diet, and also try investing in a good pre- or postbiotic. Fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi can all help replenish beneficial bacteria and restore gut balance. A study published in Frontiers in Microbiology found that regular consumption of fermented foods was associated with improved gut microbiota diversity and reduced inflammation and sugar. Next, all types of sugar are major inflammatory agents. Inflammation is already a big deal during menopause due to falling estrogen levels, which can increase aches, pains, hot flashes, night sweats, you name it. Chronic inflammation can also lead to mood disorders, muscle weakness, headaches, and other really frustrating symptoms too. Matter of fact, a study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that postmenopausal women with higher levels of inflammation markers had more severe menopausal symptoms. These markers included C-reactive protein and interleukin-6. Those are both chemicals in the body that show when there's long-term inflammation. And the study suggests that lowering inflammation inflammation definitely helps reduce some menopausal symptoms. And again, not to sound like a broken record, but reducing sugar intake can help manage these issues because sugar has been shown over and over again to promote inflammation, according to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. This study demonstrated that high sugar consumption leads to increased levels of inflammatory cytokines, which can worsen conditions like arthritis, cardiovascular disease, and metabolic syndrome. So by cutting back on sugar, you can reduce these inflammatory markers and improve your overall health, not to mention lose that belly fat and just feel better. Less inflammation and achy joints. Insulin and blood sugar. Sugar also messes with our insulin and blood sugar levels, causing spikes and crashes that lead to symptoms like shakiness, dizziness, nausea, fatigue, and anxiety. Frequent sugar spikes can lead to insulin resistance, making it even harder to lose weight. And when I say sugar spikes, don't kid yourself, you don't have to just eat like a huge hot fudge sundae for a sugar spike. Even just one scoop of ice cream, even just a handful of crackers will do that. The Journal of Women's Health reports that menopause is associated with increased insulin resistance, and high sugar intake can make that a whole lot worse, as I've been talking about. During menopause and perimenopause, decreased estrogen levels can impair insulin sensitivity too, leading to higher blood glucose levels. This can increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes and make weight management even more challenging than it already is. So instead of sugary snacks, aim for whole foods that balance fiber, healthy fats, and plenty of protein if possible. This will really help stabilize the blood sugar levels and reduce these unpleasant symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. A diet rich in whole foods, including vegetables, fruits, nuts, and lean proteins, can improve insulin sensitivity and reduce the risk of diabetes, which is really important, especially as we get older. Fiber in particular is super important as it slows the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream, which prevents those spikes and crashes. Cortisol and stress. Now, there is some debate out there about whether high sugar diets directly raise cortisol, but poor gut health from sugar can definitely increase cortisol levels. High cortisol, the stress hormone, is very common during menopause and perimenopause and can lead to cravings for even more sugar and simple carbs. Research in psychoneuroendocrinology suggests that stress and high cortisol levels are linked to increased appetite and cravings for even more sugary foods. And high cortisol levels can cause anxiety, fatigue, poor sleep, brain fog, and gut issues, and of course contribute to weight gain around the midsection, which is what we're all trying to lose, right? So managing stress and reducing sugar can definitely help keep cortisol in check. A study published in Obesity found that individuals with high cortisol levels due to chronic stress had increased abdominal fat. And increased abdominal fat is particularly actually concerning at our age because it's visceral fat. And visceral fat is linked to a higher risk of metabolic disorders and cardiovascular diseases, which we don't want. By managing stress through mindfulness practices, regular exercise, and a balanced diet, you can reduce cortisol levels and lower those effects. Foods to avoid. In addition to cutting out sugar, it's really important to stay away from foods with a high glycemic index and low fiber content, such as those made with white flour. But you might be wondering, what does high glycemic even mean? Well, simply put, foods with a high glycemic index, or GI, cause your blood sugar to spike quickly and then crash, what we try to avoid. Think of it like a sugar roller coaster. You get that initial high, but the crash leaves you feeling tired, hungry, and craving even more sugary, starchy foods. White bread, for example, pastries, pancakes, crackers, processed foods, these are all in this category. And they can and do make managing menopause symptoms and weight even harder. So instead, opt for whole grains like quinoa, brown rice, and whole wheat bread, all of which have a lower GI and provide more fiber to keep you feeling full and just more balanced. Personally, for me, I just find it easier to tell myself just no processed foods and nothing made with white flour. I just find it so much easier to say, no thanks. Those foods aren't really healthy anyway. Weight loss challenges. Low estrogen and high cortisol can make it incredibly tough to lose weight during menopause and perimenopause. And as I said, sugar makes this way worse by contributing to insulin resistance and poor gut health, which affects how we digest and absorb food. Plus, sugar's just empty calories that can easily push us over our daily calorie limit. The Obesity Reviews Journal highlights that menopause-related hormonal changes can lead to weight gain, as we've been talking about, and high sugar intake can worsen this by promoting fat storage. The body craves proper nutrition, so if we're filling up on sugar, we're probably going to end up eating way more than our body actually needs. Okay, so it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know this, but just so you know, a study in the Journal of Nutrition also found that diets high in added sugars were actually linked to increased body fat and reduced feelings of fullness, which caused people to eat more and just consume too many calories. And this is because sugar lacks the nutrients and fiber that help us feel full and satisfied. So by focusing on nutrient-dense foods, you can better manage your weight and support your overall health, and maybe even get rid of some of that extra fat you've been wanting to lose. Final thoughts. So I know it's tough to cut out sugar entirely, and I don't want you to feel deprived, and an occasional treat is perfectly fine. But if reducing sugar can help us feel better and manage those menopause symptoms, perimenopause symptoms, and help us get rid of some of that unwanted weight gain, isn't it worth giving it a try? Oh, and if you haven't seen my latest video about how quitting sugar transformed my life, I highly recommend you watch it next. I share my personal journey and some surprising changes I really wasn't expecting that happened as a result. And if you have any other tips or experiences, please share them in the comments. I'd really love to hear them. See you next week.